My height of my handle down through strike there was 0.1 of an inch higher than when it started. Not bad for an old man. Today I wanted to talk about early extension and the causes of early extension and how you may think about getting around it. With the aid of Sportbox, one of the ingredients that it allows us to measure is the height of the handle down through strike. The height in which this handle either rises up or drops down. That handle height is a huge ingredient to the early extension that so many golfers are trying to fight. Early extension is the symptom. So many people seek me out on Skillist, seek me out in person for a one-on-one lesson, and they say one of the first things they say is, Stuart, I want to get rid of my early extension. And feel that that ingredient or that problem is where most of their attention needs to lie. The reality is, early extension is buying you time. When we back up the body through strike, when the body is backing up, it's giving us more time to feel like we can unload the club face and get it back to straight. That early extension is really problematic, but with the aid of Sportbox, it's going to allow us to really measure and quantify the handle height through strike that will give you an opportunity to actually measure what you're doing around early extension that will improve it. So my first swing up here, just a regular swing through contact, we'll be able to get to see the difference between where my handle started and where my handle finished at impact. Now remember, this handle height is relative to obviously where it started, but it's on this plane, just an up and down plane. The reality is, when we are now moving this golf club in space from side to side, what's actually happening when we move the handle up and down, what it's actually doing, because the club head is coming from behind us, what it's actually doing is also changing the direction of the circle from the inside or the outside, pointing the circle to the right or pointing the circle to the left. So as a golfer comes into the golf ball and their handle has lifted up, that's effectively moving the circle to the right. Because we need to understand that this circle around us, disc shape on an angle, when that club is traveling from behind us and the handle lifts up, as I say, it points the circle to the right. When the handle starts to lower, it starts to point the circle more to the left. So a regular shot where I set up to the golf ball and now I move the club down through strike and hit the shot. When you start to look at my handle height through strike there, on that shot, my handle height was 1.3 inches higher than it started. The top of the backswing handle height is measurable as well. We can actually start to find out how high you allow your handle to go or to drop. Now, again, Sportbox gives us averages, but I don't really take too much care for that. I always think that the golfers out there in the world, whilst they're very good, averages are not to be used. Just my belief. So the handle height for my backswing was 41.6 inches higher than where it started. It's the value down through strike is the one that we're trying to measure and quantify. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate that early extension feeling where we feel the pelvis move underneath us and the handle lift up. Now if there's a video that you want to go and check out, and that's my ball striking drill you need video, which is up in the top right hand corner, that will be the video that will give you the very best chance of improving your impact condition and reducing your early extension. That is a crucial video to go and watch, but hang around here for a little while because I've got some more insights for you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate the early extension swing where the handle lifts up, my body goes into early extension. And so there's that feeling of the handle up. It's a horrible feeling and a lot of you will experience it. And out to the right, the golf ball goes. My handle through strike on that shot was 3.2 inches higher than start point. Not a lot, but you can see how it looked was extreme. Not a nice look at all. The top of the backswing, relatively the same to the last shot, 42 inches, 42.3 inches high at the top of the backswing. So again, it's where the start point is at 0. The top of the backswing height, is 42.3 inches at the top. Now, let's talk about a feeling and an attribute to allowing this early extension to disappear. How are you going to feel it? The reality is, when we create a better postural alignment down through strike, so when I start to make my handle lower and I start to tip my chest more over, you can see that my glute line has to go back. My chest has to go more forwards and my handle now has to sit more underneath us. So the gap at the point of strike between where the club shaft started and where it's going to return is going to be lower. So the handle started here, where you feel the club returning to when you're early extending is up here. Look what it does to the club head. It pulls the club head in, which is why the body has to shift forwards to make that gap and move the club head out, which is why the cancerous move is a golfer moving the handle inside out, because that handle moving it inside out, look what it's doing to the shaft. It's trying to stand it up. Then you bow your left wrist to try and shut the face down. Garbage. So the handle height, by now feeling like, and this is the feeling that you will have, is that when the handle now moves lower to the floor, you can see how the club shaft is now going to get longer. But the reality is that because I've now made the gap between the handle and the ground much smaller, the feeling of how you unload the golf club is going to be vastly different. Because when you are unloading the handle downwards and then someone asks you to lower the handle, well, I can't lower the handle, Stuart, because I'm going to run into the ground. Exactly, which is why when you start to lower the handle and put pressure on the handle, when we then start to unload the club shaft, which I go into great detail on one of my latest videos, which is up in the top right hand corner, you understand that when you start to lower the handle and then you start to unload the club has to be unloaded more on this pitch rather than this pitch. So now when I hit this shot, I'm going to now swing through strike, make my handle feel lower and unload the golf club more on this pitch rather than high handle and unloading the shaft on that vertical pitch. So get ourselves set up. I'm going to move through and feel like my handle is much closer to the floor. I then have to push myself down, lift the head up, allow the club to swing. 5 degrees of downstrike from the inside, 2 degrees shut to path. My height of my handle down through strike there was 0.1 of an inch higher than when it started. Not bad for an old man. But you can understand that to attain that, I'm going to need to feel different pressures through my feet. I'm going to need to allow the handle to move around me. I'm going to allow this right side to move around me. There are so many layers to being able to get yourself in a position where you can lower the handle and make the club head swing out, that just by thinking, bit of pressure on the handle short, can't feel that. Bit of handle forward short, can't feel that. Which is why my channel is as much educational as it is giving you fixes for your game. This is about understanding the game, the swing for what it truly is. So when we then back up and understand that inside out, tucking the right arm, flattening the left wrist, all of this utter, makes me so mad, garbage out there is making you know better, making you know better. So I talk about all of these ingredients of how the handle moves forwards, how the pressure of the golf club must work down, how the club now must swing in an effort to now allow it to move from the in to in, the handle down, unload around 5 down, 4.8 down from the in and dead straight face to path. Once again, I've not necessarily in this video given you an understanding of how to fix early extension, purely understanding the symptoms and the ingredients that go in to fixing it and what you can use to measure it. If you're tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves, head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are premium leather golf gloves that are trusted by tour players and elite amateurs alike. Use my code GOODGOLFCOACHING for 10% off your next order, and I promise you, you won't ever look back. Sportbox gives you that opportunity. That handle height is crucial. But use my video up in the top right hand corner. I've done 3 extensive videos, and in fact I'm going to put a early extension playlist together. Check that out up on the top right hand corner. Go through those 3 videos that are huge in fixing early extension. This video hopefully enlightens you up to understanding to fix early extension. Yes, we need to change our body, but B, we need to change the way the golf club is going to unload, which is a very, very different feel. I hope this video has really given you an insight into understanding what goes into fixing early extension, the feelings that you might start to have, and some videos that are going to fix it forever. I hope you enjoyed that. Do consider subscribing and do consider sharing this content with a friend that might need some help with their golf. Thank you so much for watching. I think you'll find, my friends, that is good coaching.